reason, that we were able to stick together through all those years. Because Clint, I remember Clint, we'd lose the ball game, and Clint would write me a note and send it to me. And he was just that kind of person. And I knew, when he passed away, that the Cowboys would be a little bit different. And they were.
It's shown that they're still America's team. Because when they started winning again, they not only were packing Texas Stadium, but they were packing all of the other stadiums where the Cowboys played. And that's where the name America's team originated. So, I wish them well.
Schramm has continued to attend Cowboys games since his departure 10 years ago and remains hopeful that one day he'll be included in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. For now, he takes comfort in the fact that he was the first general manager to enter the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Susie Woodhams, 10 Leaf Sports.
Jerry Jones might have been the most hated man in Dallas back in '89, but he sat there with me and said the Cowboys would again win Super Bowls in the '90s, and 4 years later they did. Nobody was laughing then, and nobody's laughing now. Well, maybe just a little bit. To a lot of Cowboys fans, without the man in the hat, it'll never be the same again. But even to them, winning 3 Super Bowls in the '90s had to ease the pain a little bit. Our look back at the '90s is next as we continue with America's team turns 40.
Johnson would come in and we'd be in meetings, he'd knock on the door and introducing you to a new lineup. Next morning, on your way into practice, you see a guy with his bag leaving.
But when you're a champion, the champion is in you. It's inside of you. And you just got to unleash it.
One of the most amazing things about this Cowboys organization is their ability to replace superstars with superstars. From Bob Lilly to Randy White, Tony Dorsett to Emmitt Smith, Roger Staubach to Troy Aikman, and always the characters to keep it interesting. Don Meredith to Hollywood Henderson to Michael Irvin. The Cowboys have always seemed to prefer the front pages to the sports pages. And in the '90s, it was no different. Here's Steve Atkinson. It's the Cowboys and the Bills in Super Bowl 27.
And Aikman with a straight drop to throw again. Going for the end zone. Novacek at the 2, takes it in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Kelly's going to throw. Here's Haley. Hit him and picked off in the air. Jimmy Jones intercepts and rolls in for a touchdown. First down, Aikman, straight drop, throws it over the middle. Curtis at the 3. Intercepted. Touchdown, Cowboys. Go ahead. Oh, 3 out. It's a fumble. Shut up. It's not going to be a touchdown.
The one thing that I felt very good about and very proud of was the fact that no one would ever be able to say that I couldn't lead a team to the Super Bowl or that I couldn't win the big one.
Jesse Sepulveda said all roads to the Super Bowl go through San Francisco. After the game, Mark Tuinay runs right up to Jesse and goes, "Thanks for the directions."
4 seasons after finishing 1-15, the Dallas Cowboys were again America's team. In the '90s, the most lethal triple threat in league history propelled the franchise to new heights. Aikman, 7-step drop, throws it right to the goal line. Irvin looking, catches the 3, touchdown! Aikman, Braun and Smith, tackled the breaks away to the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Emmitt Smith! Oh, what a run by the league's MVP!
We just felt like we were going to win no matter what the cost was, and we didn't care who it was. All I could think about was, man, this is the Super Bowl. You know how many people watch the Super Bowl? And all the kids, all the people that ever grew up with, and all the people that thought I wasn't know about anything, even though my neighbors who I threw a rock through, they wonder what they think. You know, man, that boy, he was a bad little boy, you know.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys? Head coach Jimmy Johnson stamped the franchise with his aggressive style throughout his 5 years as head coach.
And we were at camp my first year, and there was a linebacker. Jimmy kept on telling him to play. He wanted him to plug the hole, and the linebacker was slow getting there. It happened 2 or 3 times. And like the 3rd time, Jimmy just told him, "Get your stuff, said it in a different way. Get your stuff, get off my field, you cut." You know, I knew they were going to have cuts, but to see a guy get cut on the field in front of all his peers, that was something.
he left the same way he came in, embroiled in controversy.
I don't know how anybody could expect me to respect or trust a person such as that. The facts are that Jimmy Johnson was coach of the Cowboys because when I bought the team, I thought we could work together. I felt our organization was sensing it, and that our best chance to win a Super Bowl was to make a change.
Hey, I'm not being quiet. This is my time here.
Now, wait a minute. I did not do that. Throws the bomb to Deion Sanders, caught at the 20, down to the 15, to the 14-yard line. And off Emmitt Smith on the right-hand side, touchdown. He leans forward to the end zone. Emmitt Smith scores. Boy, the Cowboys are celebrating this one. We did it all, baby. We did it. We did it.
With the benefit of hindsight, right then would have been the time to make the change as far as Barry was concerned.
I just don't know how important it was to him to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys as far as putting time in.
If it's Barry's fault, then we must also say Barry deserves credit for winning the Super Bowl as the head coach.
Proof of the Cowboys' success in the 90s, the team lost more free agents than any other franchise. It also hauled in the biggest free agent catch and the most expensive, Deion Sanders. Answers right, answers left, answers up the middle 40. Midfield, it's a foot race with the corner. Sanders to the 25. Sanders to the 10. 68 yards. He did it again.
I actually played with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, a childhood dream, so to speak. My mother loved Tony Dorsett. Next thing you know, I am a Dallas Cowboy. So that was a tremendous dream that came true.
The stars shone less brightly in the mid-90s after several off-the-field incidents. But along with the prestige that comes with being the most visible franchise in sports comes the scrutiny of stardom. The headlines expose an ugly side of the team that, for better or worse, will remain a part of their history.
I've been very disappointed in the behavior of some players, but if you look at the history of the team, there's been issues throughout the history of the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have been so successful and have created such an image. There are more people writing about you than anybody else.
While many fans mark time by the Cowboys' historic games, it is the players and the stories of life for the Dallas Cowboys that are just as memorable.
It was something when I found out that Tony Dorsett was scared of the dark. Ron Springs, myself, and Dennis Thurman. And when I found out that, we used to try to scare him a lot. When Roger's head comes out, he normally hits him.
At first, I thought it was a joke, but then I realized after I saw blood that it wasn't a joke.
And he said, so let's go outside, Roger. And I would have gone outside with him.
Too tall, grab Roger. So I'm sitting there holding Longley, and Ed's sitting there holding Roger, and, we're not, neither one of us quite sure what we're supposed to do. There goes Clint down the street in his car. He was all packed, had everything in his room ready to go.
Goes to his room and leaves camp. Gone. Bye. See you. And I was running the ball, and I got hit by two safeties on both sides of my helmet. And I was laying on the ground, and my eyes were scrunched all up, and I had an instant headache. And I remember my girl was sitting over me, looking down at me, and my dog, they hit you, dog. They hit you hard. I used to put lighter fluid in my mouth and then strike a match and blow it out, and look like a fire-breathing dragon, The only thing that I recognized was a big blaze of fire. And Sim Stokes, that was sleeping in the middle between Levi and myself, he literally dove over Levi Davis and out of the window. And the plane drops about 200 or 300 feet, and there's a loud bang, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is, this is it, and it takes off again, and it does the same thing again. It drops again, and another loud bang. And Pete Janis saying, God, Meredith, we're going to die, this is it, And Meredith is smoking a cigarette. And so he just takes a drag off the cigarette. He said, well, it's been a good one here.
After 4 decades, no NFL team has won more division titles, Super Bowls, or playoff games than the Dallas Cowboys. No team has won more conference championships, and no team has a higher winning percentage. And despite its sometimes stormy past, no one is prouder of their history